Tamily. It's time for our 44th Ask Tamily interview. 44! Our guest today is Chrissy. Her Instagram name is Chrissy4Tam. So if you're not following her already, you should follow her. And we're going to send her an invite to join right now. 1 second to connect. And hello!
Hi.
How are you?
A little bit there. I'm great. How are you?
Good. So, we do have some questions planned for you, but what we like to do the most is ask questions from the live chat. So, I'll ask some, that we planned, and then we'll look through the chat and try to answer everything everyone asks in the chat as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, thanks for joining us for our 44th Ask Tamily interview. I can't even believe how many there's been. We're like almost on a year of Ask Tamily. It's amazing. So thank you for joining us. We'll start
Thank you for having me.
Our first question, which is our favorite. When and how did you start with the Tracy Anderson method?
So I started, I'm guessing it was the end of 2011, early 2012. And like a lot of us, I just kind of known Tracy as this celebrity trainer, didn't really know that we would have access to her at all. And so it was back in the day when I was spending every waking moment on Pinterest. And I found it was just the 8-minute clip of the free arms from the original mat. And a little backstory to it, I've always hated my arms, always, even when I weighed a lot less than I do. And when I got married back in 2006, I was like, I'm going to really tone up my arms. And I did all these weight machines and free weights and all this stuff. And I got no definition in my arms whatsoever. It didn't matter how much I did. So I was really frustrated with that. So I saw this, oh, cool, this little clip of a Tracy Anderson arm exercise. Let me try it. Because I think the caption said something like, the hardest arm workout you'll ever do. Turns out it is.
True.
So I kind of just started doing that and just that segment off of YouTube. And from there, I was like, okay, I really like this. I'm going to try, the weighted section now. And I was really starting to feel results almost immediately, even before I saw them, of course. But I just fell in love with those two segments. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to get the whole DVD. So I started with the original mat. And then I got the cardio DVD that went with that. And absolutely loved that because I loved all the choreography and things like that. And I did that for a while and then graduated to Meta and then continuity and now streaming. So,
wow. So when did you start streaming?
Not till last year in August when Tracy did the free 30 days. Because I was always going to I'm going to finish continuity first. And, I don't know why I was always kind of I was kind of scared, I think. And, everyone that everybody's like, oh, as soon as you start streaming, you're going to never go back and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, yeah, I want to finish continuity first. And then, so when we got the free month, I was like, oh, well, shoot, I'll try it. And of course, I've never looked back.
Really admire people that stuck with continuity because I was like, I can't be motivated to just do this DVD by myself and to miss out on stuff. But it just shows that dedication. That's really good. And honestly, we talk a lot about the difference between continuity and streaming, and they are both hard as hell. I don't think I could deal with all that paraphernalia in continuity.
I know.
I hate hair workouts and that stuff. So, I mean, Tracy's just genius with whatever material she produces.
She is. It's amazing.
Nicole was checking with us if we could see the comments, which we can see them.
Yep, I can see them.
She said that she couldn't see them, but anybody that's watching, we can see the comments if you want to type in a question. So for you, Chrissy, why did you choose Tracy Anderson over other types of fitness methods?
Well, the first thing was, of course, just the results. I actually always kind of said that Tam was the most difficult, but also most rewarding form of exercise I've ever done. And I don't know, it's just, I always loved that competition with myself. I used to run, and because of, I've got back and knee issues, running really wasn't for me. I can't do a lot of high impact stuff. So that was just something that, it was still, I loved all that just challenge with myself and wanting to improve and just that competition with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved that aspect of it. And I never really liked the gym atmosphere. I always loved working out at home. So I've always done like DVDs or just gotten on my treadmill, anything like that. Um, I don't like the noise of a gym. I remember being in a gym once with one of my friends, and I was on the elliptical, and these ladies got on either side of me, and I was in the zone listening to my music, and they were just chatting over me, and it just completely took me out of, just wanted to be like, just stop. Like, it's more of a meditative process for me too, and
Exactly.
so I love that aspect of it, and it's not DVDs where people are just constantly yelling at you, because after a while it gets repetitive, and it just kind of, it really loses its meaning. And you really have to find that within yourself with Tracy. And I just really love that aspect of it. And then the dance inspired aspect as well. I used to be a dancer until like my mid 20s.
Okay.
Nothing like, Tracy or any of the girls there. I would never even compare myself to that, but I loved that. I just loved, I almost sometimes would say like I felt like I was dancing on the floor.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. What kind of results have you personally seen since you've started with the method?
Well, as I mentioned, I tore my ACL in high school as a dancer. So I've just kind of always had some knee issues since then, and actually back issues since I was a teenager as well. And I've just really noticed a lot of functional results. So in my job, we do so much where we focus on function and strengthening people, getting them back to, basic daily functions. And so at first when I was doing Tracy, I'm like, okay, this is great. Like I feel stronger, but really is it going to help me like go up the stairs, any easier without knee pain? Well, it does. It's amazing. And just as my back has gotten stronger, I've been able to handle more and more. And, I have 52 stairs to get from my garage up to my house. I live on a big dune by Lake Michigan. So I have a lot of stairs just to get into my house, and then from there it's a 3-story house. So I do a lot of stairs all day long. And I really noticed that, since I've been really consistent with Tam, that it's really helped me just in that aspect of it. And then I just feel more confident in myself and in my body. And, even though I may not look how I want to look on the outside quite yet, I just internally is really what it's all about, and just being confident in who I am and where I'm at. So
so can we ask where you live and what you do, since you just kind of mentioned it a little bit?
Yeah, I live in Miller Beach, Indiana. So it's right at the southernmost point of Lake Michigan, basically. So, but I always usually say I'm from right outside of Chicago. Because, yeah, we're just kind of right there. You can actually see Chicago from my backyard. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
But, so, yeah, I'm just, right in the corner. So, yeah, I'm about a block away from the beach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with all those stairs in the winter?
Luckily, I have a husband that loves to shovel them. Well, that was honestly another thing when we bought the house. I was kind of like, I'm not going to be able to handle those stairs. What are we going to do? I'm like, I can't shovel that stuff, because every time I would shovel snow, which I actually love to do, because I just think it's fun to play in the snow and just exercise. But my back would go out of alignment every time I shoveled. So I would go out in our old house and shovel. My husband would be like, get back in the house. I don't want you doing this, So then when we bought this house, I'm like, well, those stairs are all yours, buddy.
Yeah.
So he handles it. I'm lucky.
That's good.
Yeah.
And what is your job?
Oh, I'm a physical therapist.
Yeah, very cool. It's interesting when we talk to people in the medical field, and you can see like the benefits of Tracy because you have that, expertise.
Yeah, and I just nerd out so much when she starts talking. When she's been doing her lectures lately, and It was, I think last week she was talking about one of the muscles that wrap from here to here, and I was just like, oh, I know what that is. Like, I'm such a dork.
We all are. We're all about do you have any workout partners?
Well, the Tamily, of course.
True.
Actually, I wrote this down because I thought this was so cool. Let me try to find this. But yeah, I feel like, just every time I'm on the mat, just that everyone's with me, But I just remember it was in Natalia's Happiness Through Tam, if I could call her out, her story a couple weeks back. And it was this quote from a Neil deGrasse Tyson book talking about particles. But it said, they moved freely of themselves in spite of being collectively bound to one another, which she said perfectly described the Tamily. And she was right. And I absolutely love that. I think that is an absolute perfect way to describe us. And
it really
so, yeah, I mean, we're just all in this together for sure. But then sometimes my kids join. You'll see my dog every once in a while, and my one dog that she'll be in there. She looks like your babies so much. She always, whenever I see your babies, I think of my dog.
Yeah.
Then every once in a while, one of my cats will run in there, but they're usually on the bed, which I work out in my bedroom, and I'm facing our bed, so the cats are usually up there, out of camera view.
I love all the Tam animals.
I know.
How do you personally get and stay motivated to work out regularly?
Honestly, my biggest thing is, if I'm having a day where I just don't feel like it versus like I know I need a rest day, I just really think about how good I feel after I work out and how accomplished I always feel. Just this method is never easy, no matter how long we've been doing it. We know that it's always a challenge every day, every week, and just the fact that we can constantly improve upon ourselves, and like I said earlier, just that competition with myself that really helps get me motivated. And then I think like a lot of all of us, we just start scrolling Instagram and see everybody in the Tamily doing their thing, and
yeah,
that's my main inspiration for sure.
It's a huge difference, definitely. Well, Nicole and Sass Tam also have a question. So, the question is, since you're a physical therapist, will you talk to us about your interpretation of cross vectors? Tracy says that.
Yeah, I really love just kind of the neurological factor of it. Just, when he has a stroke, the right side of the brain affects the left side of the body and vice versa. So it's just kind of all these neurological patterns that are, getting included in there too, which I really love. Just everything having to work together in unison. And that's really another thing about the method that I love too, is just that mind-body connection. And I feel like I'm getting a little bit off subject, but I work with geriatrics a lot, and I've worked for Alzheimer's patients for years. And so that's just kind of another factor to the method that I think is so important, for all of us. And Tracy's talked about that too, just as we age, that, we're all gonna, I think it's a really cool experiment. And I'm really I think a lot about how cool is it going to be to see where all of us are in, 20, 30, 40 years from now, just like we're just this big grand experiment.
Yeah, because it's so different, than other methods, and it just engages your mind in that way. Like, I could never do another exercise method. Like, they all seem so different than the way that, you connect and you use your entire body, and it's
absolutely,
it's so amazing. So of course you guys can type other questions into the chat with some comments. I don't see any other questions yet, but have you ever met Tracy?
Yes, I have. I was at a crash course in Chicago in 2016. Our wonderful Courtney was there as the trainer, so she was fantastic. I got to have some of my form corrected by her, and I always think of her when I do like that one certain move that she helped me fix. Tracy's sister was even there. Kind of a funny story. I'd gotten there really early, and so I was just kind of parked in the street outside the studio where it was at. And I just look up, and at first I thought it was Tracy because they look so much alike. And I'm just, oh my gosh! And they're waving to me, and then I realized it was her sister. I'm like, oh, how cool! and but yeah, Tracy was. I mean, she's just so down to earth. I mean, everyone is, and I get a little starstruck. I think I might have weirded her out a little bit, and then she wanted to take a selfie, and I refused to do that. I'm like, oh no, can we just have somebody take it? Because selfies were still kind of, sort of new at that point. I hated how I looked, and I was like, no, like, can we just have somebody take it? And then I'm like, oh my god, I just told Tracy Anderson no.
That's what.
But yeah, I mean, she was fantastic, and I think that because of who and how she is, it's just created what the Tamily is. It starts from the top down, and just because she's so accessible and so amazing to all of us, and just takes the time even to come out and do that with us, in person is just amazing. So.
Yeah. Did you get to ask her a question or anything in the lecture?
No, because I was too shy. We were a really quiet group. I kind of remember there. I don't really recall a lot of questions being asked, but I just kind of remember just kind of clamming up. Like, I knew that I should have like written things down, because when I was just in that moment, I'm like, I have no idea what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
It was cool to just sit back and listen.
Definitely. Okay, so we have a couple questions in the chat. This question was asked of Natalie also in her interview. What's the best life lesson you've learned from your most elderly patients?
Ooh. That's a good question. I need a second. I think what I've learned is just, keep it simple and appreciate life, and honestly, you hear it a lot from people. The older you get, the less you care, and it really is true. And just, these folks don't care. But a lot of them, you get that sense that they wish they would have learned that lesson a lot earlier in their lives. Just we're not here for very long, and just appreciate what you have when you don't look back and just have all these regrets of, oh, I wasted all this time worrying about this and this
Right.
and this, and not enjoying the moment. So.
Definitely. That's huge. We all need to learn that. Okay, we have a couple of questions coming in from JC Burke. She would like to know, how do you decide what day is your rest day? How do you pre-plan it? Or do you just take a break when you're tired?
Usually take a break when I'm tired. Sometimes it revolves around my work schedule. So I definitely try to work out at least both Saturday and Sunday, knowing that my work schedule changes a lot, and it's hard to plan. So knowing that I might need to take, and I normally work out 5 to 6 days a week. I find like usually 5 days is honestly kind of my sweet spot. I just need those rest days. But knowing that I'm gonna at least need one day off during the week, and it's usually Thursdays because I have meetings and things like that. Or if I know, I'm going somewhere on Friday night, or, I just kind of plan it around my schedule, basically.
She would also like to know, which day of the week is hardest for you? Is it the first day of new content, or like after a couple days?
That's a good question. And for me, it seems to vary. I think it depends on the class. If I'm super tired by the time Wednesday rolls around, because where I'm at, classes don't get posted till usually like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I work out in the evening, so Thursday is usually day one for me.
Okay.
So if I'm super tired from the week, I might even just do start on a Wednesday night and just kind of prep myself for the next week coming. But I don't know. I'm doing a tame this week, and I think it's going to get harder and harder every day. I felt the flow a little bit better yesterday, as I think a lot of us do on day 2. But
yeah,
I think some classes just get harder as the week goes on, and some I feel like are, I mean, I'm always improving for sure, but some are just I can get really good flow and get through them, and by the end of the week, getting all the reps in, and
Yeah.
some I'm just really tired, and I think that might just depend too on where I'm at in my cycle, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and some
Really
of the
affects me.
workouts, I feel like I just say that they're very athletic, like where it seems like we're moving our entire body for movement. Those are exhausting, but usually, like, if it's more complex, it's like the first day is the hardest because you're trying to figure it out. But then sometimes those aren't as difficult as like the ones where you're like a football player or a boxer or something.
I know.
Let's see. We have a question from Deb, which her Instagram name is Tam Menopausal. We just interviewed her recently.
She made it.
He said, "Would you tell us more about your puppies?"
Oh, of course, I'd love to. Awesome question.
Yeah.
So I have two, Sydney and Isabella. Sydney is a lab mix. She's 14 years old. She just kind of just is over all of it. She just doesn't care. She's like, I'm done. Sometimes she was just kind of funny. She was just rolled up in a ball. And so where I work out is that side of my room. We have just an old, like, part of a sectional couch where we just left for the dogs that they can get up and actually look out the windows because our windows are up so high and just the way my house is. So we left that for them, and both of my dogs were up there yesterday, and then just Izzy, the young one, took off, and then you just see City just rolled up in this little ball. And then Izzy, she is 7, and she's an Australian Kelpie Chow mix. So she's all black. She just looks like a black shepherd. And she loves to swim in the lake and just hang out with us all the time. They're the best. They're awesome.
She looks like she must have a lot of fur all over your house.
Oh, yes. We are vacuuming several times a week, especially this time of year. They're shedding their winter coats. And
Yep.
It's hard to keep up with.
My bigger one,
worth it.
That's more. My littler one has, like, shorter hair, I guess, and my bigger one's definitely fluffier.
Yeah. And then Izzy hates being brushed, so she's got all these clumps of, like, the winter coat coming out, and then you have to make a game out of brushing her because she'll keep running away. And
Well, I've been thinking that we should probably start, like, dog interviews because I get to...
Oh, my gosh. Yes. Ask Champ Pups.
We probably should bring it back to Tracy. I don't see any questions in the chat right now. What is your advice to someone that's new to the Tracy Anderson method?
First of all, start slow and don't compare yourself to anyone, especially if you start streaming right away or if you're on the Instagram community. It's very easy to say, oh, I should, watch everybody doing this and think I should be here. But no, start slow and don't overwhelm yourself. And honestly, there's so much education that I found so valuable, like the 30-Day Method book. I still go back and read that, maybe once a year it's still so relevant, and it's motivating, and I love that book. And just, really digging deep into learning, just the basics of the method. Watch your necks. So a lot of us, and I'm guilty of it too, we tend to either look in our mirrors or, in our phones to watch our form and stuff. But especially when we're down on all fours and we're kicking and we're really, watching ourselves so much, really just try to keep our necks neutral. And, I really try to work on that too, because I'm guilty of it also. So that's just a big thing. Just really, watch the breakdowns or, anything like that. And, for anything, just because we all know if you're not hitting those angles, then you're completely missing what Tracy's going after. So they're so important. And, my routine is usually I'll watch the breakdown as soon as classes are posted on Wednesday nights. I'm in there, I'm watching the summary, and I like to watch the breakdown before I do the workout the next day. And then after I do the workout once, I like to watch the breakdown again just to see what I missed or what I forgot. Because, a lot of times they're so subtle, like we know, and, you don't want to miss that little gem that
like what way your foot should be facing. Like it
exactly
really changes what muscles you're using, and it's a totally different thing. I definitely know because I never watched the breakdown ever. And way to be. You should watch the breakdown. It's an amazing tool. I'm a very bad example right now.
Well, yes. We've all got our moments. Yeah, like I honestly, I will admit, I was so eager to jump into Attain the other day when I got home that I kind of got halfway through the breakdown. I'm like, this is such a long class. I need to just get started. And then I missed a bunch of stuff. So, but I was also going to say too, just kind of how, a big thing I think in the 30-day method book too, that just, talking about the cross vectors and stuff, we all get really excited when Tracy will add a little bit of standing abs back in, because we all love those. But, I think newbies especially should, be aware that, a lot of times during the entire arm segment, there's cross vectors, there's standing abs going on in there that are really subtle sometimes that, we can tend to forget about or not realize that are there. So,
yeah, I really feel like there's a point where you begin to engage more muscles and you realize, like, you're working muscles in your whole body during that arm. Like, I think sometimes it stands out, like, if you have tendonitis or some type of a little issue, and you're like, oh, well, I could just do arms. No, you really are, like, working your ankle and your groin while you're
exactly.
arms. Like, it is that serious.
Yeah, all the way down to your little toe.
But it's like that point where you finally, like, see that in the method. Mm-hmm. You realize you're really using your entire body.
Yeah.
What challenges have you personally faced in doing the method?
One of my biggest challenges is not just with the method, but just for some reason, even though I love exercise, but just exercise in general, is consistency. And I do, again, I've even talked to my husband about this. I'm like, I don't know why I get that way because I absolutely love it. So just, I kind of just made this year, I turned 40 last month, and it was just kind of like, this is my year of, no more doing this, for 8 months and then taking a month and a half off. And, it's just, this is my year of consistency. So that's my biggest thing with it right now. And then honestly, just being kinder to myself at times. Since I remember this since Meta, I remember I was, just sometimes just, we've talked about, well, not us, you and I right now, but just how the method can be such an emotional release also. And when I was just really starting to get into the nitty gritty of Meta, there would be days where I just feel like tears streaming down my face I was just like frustrated that I couldn't do these things. It's like, oh, well, but that's also the beauty of it is, I'm not just, and I'm not knocking this form of fitness, but for me, it was, when I would just get on my treadmill and just mindlessly go, I would throw on my soap opera and catch up on that while I worked out, and obviously Tracy's like, no distractions whatsoever, be in that moment. And, so just really being kinder to myself in those moments, I mean, we all cuss our way through workouts sometimes, but it's supposed to be hard.
Right, that's why I can't always live stream.
Yeah.
We have another question in the chat. When did you first discover the Tamily? Because you really started with the method before the Tamily really existed, probably.
Yeah, that's a good question. I've thought about that. I don't remember when I found it, to be honest. Probably around like maybe 2014, 2015. And then, I remember you were actually one of the first people I connected with like years ago. Because I always loved your profile picture, by the way, totally off subject, but like, that was always my absolute favorite. You just look so like you're having so much fun.
Yeah.
But anyway.
The best picture of my whole life.
But, so I started my Chrissy for Tam page back when I finished Meta and was going into continuity. And then I just remember going on vacation, and then I just was kind of like, recording and posting isn't serving me right now. And I just completely disappeared off the grid until I started streaming last year. And then I was streaming, or I was recording and posting on my personal Instagram page. And then, so I did it for that month, and then just decided, yeah, everybody that follows me over there probably doesn't want to see me working out every single day. And I wanted to start posting consistently and just really reconnecting with everybody on a daily basis. So then that's when I started up the Chrissy for Tam again. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I would guess probably, yeah, maybe like 2015 or so.
Okay. Yeah, that's early. I think that's around when I discovered it too, and that made like all the difference to me.
Yeah.
What is something that you have learned from Tracy?
To love myself in my own skin. I think, I don't want to speak for anybody, but I think a lot of us, especially as women, have our own body issues. And, as I kind of mentioned before, even though the outside isn't exactly where I want it to be yet, I'm more confident, especially as summer's coming and I'm going to be wearing short sleeves and, tank tops and things like that, where literally, like, I want to cover like 3/4 of my arms. And I kind of had an epiphany a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I'm usually so self-conscious about what's going on. And then I thought, but I'm not really in that place anymore, because I know that I'm so much stronger, and I'm on this incredible journey where I'm just going to continue to get better and better. I don't even just mean my physical appearance, just, internally, and, like Tracy's saying, the work in. And, yeah, just to really just love myself with where I'm at, and, just be happy with, yeah, just how I don't know, I'm kind of losing my train of thought. But yeah, I mean, just, really not being, we're not going to get an ideal figure, and I always love that about Tracy too, is just, don't aspire to look like anyone else, because we're all genetically different. We're all going to respond differently. We obviously know she can change anyone's bodies, but the results for each one of us are all going to be so individual.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Natalia has a question for you, Happiness Through Tam. And she says, this is kind of a deep question, I think. Do you feel you've discovered any hidden talents or found new passions that you can attribute to the clarity that Tam brings?
Ooh, Natalia. I think kind of going along with just to build on kind of what I was saying about just, in terms of clarity, just being proud of where I'm at every point in my life, and not, looking back and going, oh, having regrets for not being consistent with workouts, and, gaining and losing weight, things like that. Like, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, I'm showing up for myself every day in the best way I know how. And I'm challenging myself every single day. I'm not taking the easy way out, basically. So does that answer the question? I don't know.
Think so. We also have the best question asker in the Tamily watching us right now, with Aggie.
I knew it.
Aggie says, what is the biggest lesson your mother taught you?
Ooh. Very good question. Aggie. It's funny because my mom is like the most stressed out person I know, but to not worry about the little things. I think because I think it was something she probably recognized in herself, and she wanted to pass that, not pass that on to me, and just, don't cry over spilled milk kind of thing. And yeah, that is definitely sometimes a challenge. And I do recognize that when I, just the small things that just get me very easily frustrated, and just I'm able to just kind of stop and go, okay, really? Like, is that going to matter 20 minutes from now?
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a great lesson. Cassie would like to know, what 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
Ooh. Gosh, you guys are getting some deep questions here.
We are. And there's more in chat still.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about myself anyway. Best 3 words to describe myself. Patient, loyal, and determined.
Excellent. Those sound like Tamily characteristics. Okay, we have another question from Maggie. This says, what do you learn from your failures?
Okay, that's a good question, because I'm the type of person that will normally only learn from my mistakes. I could have this bad habit, and nobody can tell me, you really shouldn't be doing that or this or that, until I screw up, and then I know, okay, yeah, but I learned to not have regrets though too, because I think, it would only be a shame if I didn't learn from my mistakes, and then I don't want to really have regrets in life, because life is so short. And kind of a thing that I've learned, from my patients, going back to that question, is that life is too short to dwell on what could have been, or what you should or shouldn't have done. And so I just try really hard to learn from my mistakes, and I'm not perfect. I repeat them sometimes, and then I just try not to chastise myself and move on and just say, okay, let's not do that again.
Definitely. Miss Talia would like to know if you're a Libra.
I'm an Aries, actually, which I've never really bought into. I don't really think of myself as this big leader. But yeah.
When is your birthday?
April 9th.
Okay, we'll have to remember that next April. Another question. Cassie would like to know, what are your favorite jams to tam to?
Oh, okay, good question. Because, well, I have had my own playlist since Meta. That was kind of essential during Meta. But I love anything by Childish Gambino. Gosh, my playlist is kind of constantly evolving. I'm constantly adding and subtracting to it. But there's just, actually, Tam and I were just talking about a song. It's called Pursuit of Happiness. That's a really good one.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah. And yeah, just a couple of, I actually just added a couple of older Christina Aguilera songs, like Fighter, and just because This Attain is really making me feel like kind of a badass. So I just kind of added a couple of those. So it's constantly evolving, but yeah.
It sounds wonderful. You should share it with us.
I will. Yeah, I'll put it in a story today.
Cool. Why is your workout personally important to you?
Because it's my time. And it's just kind of, it's very, like you said, it's just kind of a very, very meditative time for me. It's my time to unwind. I've actually, especially as summer is approaching, I've kind of always told myself, man, I really wish that I could switch to morning workouts. But part of my workout is just unwinding from the day. I spend my entire day taking care of others, and I just kind of, I need that time to take care of myself and just, in a sense, wash away the day. So that's really the biggest reason why it's so important.
Yeah, I really think, it's so hard to figure out your routine and where it fits in. And then there's also like people that there's natural times where their workouts feel great, and I've kind of beat myself up about that before, of like I should do the workout in the morning because then everything would go better in the day. And I just can't do it, so I'm like, I'm not going to give myself a hard time.
Yeah.
But when it feels great, and sometimes that's 11 p.m. and that might be crazy, but that's like when it works, and when I had the energy to do it.
Exactly.
But
yep.
I am lucky if I don't hit myself in the face with a weight if I do a workout at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, I can't wake up early enough to, I mean, and it's a process because it's an hour-long workout. It's the setting up of the recordings, it's a big setup and all that kind of stuff. So it's not like I just pop out of bed, throw on my gear and go,
Yeah.
And I'm not complaining about that setup at all, of course. But to me, it's just like, no, I'd rather sleep in. But I've always been more of an afternoon, evening kind of workout person anyway. So I think I'm kind of done trying to make myself a morning person because it's just not going to.
Have you converted anyone to become a devoted Tamer?
I haven't. I have tried. I'm going to call out my best friend right now. And I will say, she's a whole different animal because she's an Iron Man. And so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Witnessing one of those is like, okay. Like, that's a whole different animal completely. But I remember one time I had her, this was a couple years ago, and we did Meta level 6. I think we just picked that one because it was like one of my favorite levels. I'm like, oh, let's try this. And we got done. She's like, never again. But we all have our different styles. And she lives in Arizona, so I was just there a couple months ago, and she peeked in on me while I was working out at her house, and she's like, yeah, no. So, but back in the day too, when I first started doing the original mat, I don't really recall how it came about at work, but I must have talked about it so much that the girls at work wanted to try it. So I was at a nursing home at the time, and we had downtime when the residents would be eating breakfast. So we would just pop on like a little piece when all these segments were still on YouTube, and I'd have them try the arms, or they'd do one of the leg segments, and a couple of the girls bought that DVD from there, but I don't think I've recruited anybody like a hardcore devotee.
Yeah. We all try, and like it just has to be the right thing for you. It's unique, and it is not necessarily for everyone. That's okay to me.
Yeah.
I don't mind if it's exclusive.
Right.
But I got my sister to do it. I think I asked her for like 2 years, and she tore something in her knee in the first workout that she did.
Oh no.
Or she thinks she did. I insist it was something else, but
of course.
Yeah. So Allie would like to know, do you have any hidden talents?
I have a useless talent. I could pretty much hear a song once or twice, and I know the whole lyrics for the rest of my life. I don't have to hear the song for the next 10 years. It'll come on the radio and go, oh yeah, I remember this song and know every word to it. I don't, it's just, what's that?
Do you like to sing?
I do. I shouldn't, but I do. No one ever really gets to hear me sing. It's bad. That's a talent I really do wish I was blessed with. I really wish I could sing, but
knowing lyrics like that is amazing.
I know. I should have gone on a game show or something.
That was too late. Just want to make sure we haven't missed any of the questions we planned for you. We probably talked about this a little bit, but what is your routine and how does your workout fit into your life?
So when I get home from work, I let the dogs out, I get my water, and I go straight to my Tam cave. And because honestly, I'm one of those people, I've always been that way. If I don't do it right now, it's not going to happen. So I start heating up the room and just get, change and get ready to go. And so and like I said before, I get home from work at a different time every day. I work home health, so my schedule just varies every single day. And on the weekends, I try to get it done earlier in the day, which, I enjoy that. It's not first thing in the morning. I'm up for a little while, or, like late morning, early afternoon. I can handle that. But usually during the week, yeah, just the second I get home from work, I change and I get at it.
That's good discipline. I need to do the same thing. Well, I think we've asked everything in the chat and all of our planned questions. So while you have this audience, is there anything else you would like to share with the Tamily?
Honestly, I just want to say thank you to everybody for just being who you are. I talk to my husband about this a lot. Just, this community is just not unlike anything I've ever been a part of. And just the absolute unconditional love and support that everyone gives each other. Like, it's just a space where you can go and not be afraid to be you. And just the love and support that you get and the motivation it's unmatched. And, I really just hope that I have been able to give back to everyone just a very small part of what you've given me, and then I've succeeded. I mean,
well, that is definitely a powerful statement, and we appreciate your, motivation and contribution to the community, and for being open and answering everything that was asked of you today. We had some tough questions in the chat.
Well, I hope I answered them okay. I'm not very good on the fly, but no, I appreciate everything. I appreciate everybody that joined, and I'm so honored to be a part of this. This was fantastic. When Nicole had emailed or messaged me, I got tears in my eyes. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. I just, you never think that, what you have to say is, really that interesting.
But I mean, it is to this community, and this is just a conversation with other people that do this method. So that's why I love us having this, forum. Like, to me, it's just the same as if we were talking in a coffee shop or something. But it's a way to connect with everybody and get to learn more about people. So,
it's just wonderful.
Your Instagram.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You're more than just your Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted to say too, just a few months back, I got to meet a bunch of the girls from the Chicago Tamily. We all went out to dinner, and then, just meeting them, it's like you had been friends for years. There's no pretense. There's no, nothing's awkward. Because you don't, you're meeting people in person, but you already know them. And we're all getting together again next month. We're doing dinner. We're going to do a workout together and then have brunch. So I'm just so excited. It's just, meeting new people and just, having new friends and hanging out and just having that common ground. And there's so much love.
Meetups are amazing.
They are.
Well, thank you again, Chrissy, for joining us. This whole interview is going to be on my Instagram story for 24 hours until noon Eastern tomorrow. And then in a few days, we'll get it onto YouTube. Lately, the comments haven't been showing up when I'm putting it onto the story. So you might just want to scroll through and look at all this love everybody gave you.
Yeah, I've been trying to.
Before we actually end the video. But thank you again for joining us, and thank you everybody for watching. We'll get this onto YouTube forever in a few days.
Yay! Thank you all for having me. Love you guys.
Bye, Tamily.
Bye. All right. I'm gonna scroll through everything now.
Yeah, good idea. I'm trying to see if I can save it somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so hard to read them all while you're talking.
Definitely.
was so fun to talk to you again, or not again, but finally.
Well, it feels like again, just because we communicate on Instagram.
Yeah. Hopefully someday we'll meet in person.
Definitely. I was just in Chicago this week, but I didn't plan ahead very well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, next time, I know you travel so much, but if you're around and you've got some free time, we'd all love to get together, even just for dinner or something with you.
Yeah, I have to plan ahead. Too much time spent on work.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get cut off in a minute, so I'm going to end the video, but you might be able to see the comments still on my page.
Okay. I think I'm pretty much caught up.
Cool. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thank you.